Hello and welcome to SeahawkTalk on Thursday, April 23. I'm Ed Havishar. I've got a number of guests today. We're still working with our fall sports. You kind of feel that draft in the air. We'll get to that soon enough. Let's go to our guest list and show that we have coming on today's show, Matt Messner and Matt Sylvia from football, Sebastian Nordsey from women's volleyball, Emmy Shaw from equestrian, and John Ingalls from sailing. Let's go.
Thanks for having us, Ed.
Let's go right to the mat, as they say in a wrestling term, because I think some of them have done some wrestling work in their day. Hello, Matt Messner and Matt Sylvia. How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing? Doing great.
Looking good. That's Sylvia behind the shades, and Messner wearing the awesome Seahawk sweatshirt and hat. And let me give you some bio information on them. First of all, both of them are first team All Commonwealth Coast Conference in football for 2019. Outstanding year for both of them. They play on the defensive end. In 2018, Matt Sylvia was NEFW, that's New England Football Writers, Division III All-Star, D3Football.com All-East Region. He is a two-time first-team All-CCC, and he also tied the single-season program record for interceptions. His favorite sports hero is Deion Sanders, so you know where he gets that interception ability from. And I want to congratulate Matt on COSIDA Academic All-District.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to congratulate Matt on being named captain.
I appreciate that as well. Thank you. Congratulations, Matt.
And the CCC Defensive Player of the Year for 2019, Matt Messner.
Thank you as well. Thanks again.
And along with Jory Moriello, Matt Messner was named the New England Football Writers All New England All-Star, similar to Sylvia from the previous season. Gentlemen, you've got a good look, and we've got some nice packages image-wise that we want to show. What is spring ball like for you? You're not on campus, but you're able to do your sessions with your respective coaches. Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so spring ball is all about learning the playbook and getting everything in the playbook down and cemented. So when we come into the summer, we're hitting it full speed. So even though we can't be on the field doing that, we're taking our mental reps over Zoom via our position coaches. And we're really getting after it and making sure that once we get here in the summer, things run as smooth as possible and we can hit the ground running.
To go off that, the Zoom call has been great. Getting used to the new defensive coach we have, Coach Jones. Also, I think it's still pretty good to keep the Zoom calls going because we can still develop a little bit of chemistry as much as we can virtually. But yeah, it's still pretty good.
Excellent. Let me get some footage to show here. Andrew Pizzelli again did a great job of showcasing both of you in images. We're showing Matt Messner right now, number 45 on the defense, a linebacker. Matt, your favorite sports hero, Luke Kuechly, recently retired. How did that impact you?
Yeah, well, Luke Kuechly, he's a student of the game, so I try to emulate myself as much as I can after him. He has great instincts. He watches a ton of film, so he knows what play it's going to be a lot of times before it's even ran. And a lot of the guys on the offense will tell you that in the NFL Top 100 series that they do every year, that he's making calls that, he's saying zone right, and that's exactly what they're running. So I try to emulate my game after him.
Apologize there. Actually, we're showing Matt Sylvia right now in his photo package, and it ends, I believe, with a great image of Matt in this mink cape. Can you guys explain that to me? What's up with the mink cape?
All right. So it was last season, previous year, me and Matt's sophomore year. Our former DC, who's now in Ohio, Coach Brzezinski, thought of the idea of we should have a turnover prop, and so we had defensive vote. And we decided the Ric Flair mink and carried it around in a purple suitcase. And whenever someone got a turnover or scored on defense, throw that thing on. crowd hyped.
And you, go ahead.
The cook's awesome just because, it can change the momentum of the game. We get an interception, put the mink on, and everyone's all, hyped up, like Matt said, and then we ride that momentum, and it really changes the momentum of the game.
Where is that mink now?
Who knows?
I think it's in the defensive office, actually. Probably underneath the desk somewhere, yeah. We still have it.
One of you would obviously have won it had you had possession of it, correct?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, looking at the team jumping onto the field in a pregame setting, at Topa Field, you occupy a pair of locker rooms. Which locker room setting is the loudest in pregame settings?
I think the defensive side gets pretty excited before games. We always got music bumping, guys are getting mentally focused, and we're just getting ready to play.
Definitely. I think we definitely have a louder locker room. I'll give it to former player Hayden Pereira. He'd always bring this enormous speaker, and I think we were bumping so loud that we'd shake the stands. It gets everyone going for the game.
Well, I just heard something right there as we were playing that package through. The NFL draft logo came through, as well as the NFL, may I say, trademark chime. We may get busted for copyright infringement, but the NFL draft trademark chime. So somebody's on the clock. I don't know who. But I'm guessing that not one of you, but both of you are probably going to be tuned into the start of the draft at 8 p.m. tonight.
Oh, most definitely.
Absolutely.
It's definitely part of the fit. I'm just going to be ready just in case. My number's called.
Number 8 and number 45 will be on the ready. But it's so different this year because obviously nobody's gathering in person. There's no big meeting area, whether it be New York, Las Vegas, or wherever. Everybody's remotely, just like you. So you guys are in your respective green rooms, awaiting the call. What will it be like if the call comes to you?
I mean, hopefully it won't happen this year because that means we're ineligible for the fall. But maybe in the following year, that'll be a pretty exciting development.
Yeah, I think I definitely positioned myself so that me and Matt are a package deal. So you draft one of us, you draft both of us. We actually call it the Matt Cat. It's a great package.
I like that. Hey, talk about it. It's going to be in a setting that you guys are familiar with now because you've been Zooming all along. Talk about what you think, what your expectations are from tonight's presentation Zoom-wise. Could there be a Zoom gate going on?
It's possible with, technology. Who knows what's going to happen. Something could go wrong. Someone could get disconnected. Maybe a GM accidentally selects the wrong player, and there's sure to be some kind of drama tonight, but who knows what that'll exactly be until we get to see it.
I think it'll definitely add to the theatrics if something happens. I'm almost guaranteeing it.
Well, what have you been doing with your sports watching time since there are no live sports? What do you tend to go to fill in that void that's been missing since all live sports have been shut down?
It's actually pretty funny. I know you mentioned esports last time when Joey and Peter were on, but a couple guys on the team, actually, we have a very competitive Madden connected franchise league. I think we've had up to like 15 people in it at once. Very intense. And we'll stream the game so other people can watch. And yeah, it definitely fills in as much as possible of watching actual sports.
I think, since there's no live sports, a lot of times I'll find myself watching, highlights or, tutorials on what exactly to look for. And maybe if you're reading an offense or something, I also like to look at old film of ours just to see how I can improve upon myself and what we can do in that aspect. If my footwork wasn't exactly right in one play or whatnot. And I think that's just, like I said, emulating after Luke Kuechly, just trying to watch as much and learn as much as possible.
And Matt, like you said, that's the beauty of film. You're able to learn from it and hopefully apply improvement techniques to it. How were each of you recruited? I know you're involved in helping Coach Gilmartin recruit future Seahawks. How did it happen for you guys to become South Virginia football players in Newport, Rhode Island?
So
Matt, you go ahead.
I'll go first. In high school, you got every so often you'll get called down to the front office, and there'll be a coach there. And one day, previous defensive coordinator, Coach Wyke, who was the defensive coordinator before Coach Merrill, actually, he came in. He sold me on Salve. He got me to come up for a visit. Obviously, it's a great area, great atmosphere, and it just felt at home at Salve. So I decided to come, and I think I'd have to say I definitely made the right choice.
So I started really looking at colleges a little bit later in my athletic career. Like, I think I started my conversations with Salve late into almost late April and May, and it was actually pretty funny. I was recruited by former coach here, Anthony Marcella, and for the longest time, I actually thought he was the head coach, and then I learned otherwise. I was, wow, all right.
Well, biology major for the Luke Kuechly fan, Matt Messner, and accounting major for the Deion Sanders fan, Matt Sylvia. The former coming from Midland Park, New Jersey, and the latter coming from East Greenwich, Rhode Island. Good to see you guys on the show today. Really appreciate your help with supporting South Virginia football, and I hope you enjoy tonight's NFL draft. And if they call the name Matt, who's going to answer?
Both of us.
Both of us, Matt.
All right. I hope you can still be a Seahawk. Meaning if Seattle calls. Well, great having you on the show. Thanks for coming.
All right. Thank you, pal.
Thanks for having me.
That's Matt Messner and Matt Sylvia joining us from their respective hometowns on Seahawk Talk. We'll be joining Sebastian Nordsee after a short break. Stick with us. Welcome back to Seahawk Talk on Thursday, April 23. Just finished a great segment with Matt and Matt, Messner and Sylvia, and now we head to North Kingstown, Rhode Island to join our women's volleyball head coach, Sebastian Nordsee. Let me click that button. Well, hey, Sebastian, how are you doing?
Hey, Ed, how's it going?
Very good. I know we talked through email earlier today and had some suggestions on what we wanted to go do conversation-wise. Let's start off with the juniors on the Seahawk women's volleyball squad.
Yeah, so just talking about the juniors, I just wanted to highlight them a little bit because they're really stepping up into this leadership role amazingly. I couldn't have asked for four better players and better leaders to take over that soon to be senior leadership role going forward. In all of our Zoom meetings, they've been super engaged. They've been asking great questions. And you can see that all the rest of them are following suit, right? The younger players, however many we have of them, a lot of them, are seeing what, Liv, Meredith, Andy, and Katie are doing. And they're just following. They're doing a great job being leaders, those four.
And they come from various backgrounds and different majors: nursing, business administration, business marketing, and business administration. I know some of them have had control of your Instagram account. How's that going for the Seahawks?
Oh, it's a lot of fun, especially for me, because it kind of gives me what are they doing on their day to day? And I've started to get a little creative with how to choose. I know we had said before A to Z. Started doing some other things. Like we had a guess the number competition where you had to guess what number I was thinking or what number I had written down. And then our last Zoom meeting, I said, hey, first person to show a volleyball on the screen wins. They get to take over.
Wow.
And that sprinting all over.
And you don't count, right? Because you've got the volleyball in your background.
I take over all the rest of the days. I don't need to take over the
Well, I learned something today earlier in my twice weekly conversation with Athletic Director Jody Moradian and Assistant Athletic Director Matt Finlayson, and that is the family of Nordsees are involved in the boating industry. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so my dad has been a huge sailor all of his life for the most part. He used to work in Miami with his company, but then he moved up to Newport because, the sailing industry here is amazing. So he's been here for the past 30 plus years, I'm assuming. And he's had his business 10 minutes away from Salve, right off the bridge on the island.
That's outstanding. And what have you been involved in anything boating related? Do you sail? Do you get out on the water?
I like my mom's version of sailing. You got a nice drink in your hand, a nice cheese board. My dad's version of sailing, very intense. He's part of this club called the Storm Tri-Sail or something, where the only way to get in is if you sailed through a storm. So that's what I said too when I found out exactly what it was. So he's like the big competitive sailor part of the family. If he invites me out on a boat and it's nice clear skies and warm weather, usually I'm in. But in terms of my sailing background, I did a sail camp at Sail Newport, but I really haven't pursued it since. I fell too much in love with volleyball, and ever since then it's been all volleyball all the time.
Hey, did you catch last week's episode of Seahawk Talk with a pair of Lees from Dover, Florida?
Yep, a pair of Lees and a pair of competitive kids playing that Family Feud game.
Yeah, they finished it tied 1-1 after the first two questions. They both got the number 2 answer correctly when they were the lead guesser, and then they each got the number 1 answer when they were offered the opportunity to claim ownership of the category. So I loved seeing that in the competitiveness that they had, and it looked like they had a fun time on it as well.
Yeah, we'll have to think about a tiebreaker because right now you can't have sisters be 1-1. Someone's got to win.
No, and well, they've got 4 more sisters in the household, so maybe it'll get really competitive and they'll all jump into the action.
Oh, that would be a great family feud right there.
Absolutely. We're showing some photo montages that Andrew Pizzelli put together from this past season. And again, through your Zoom meetings that you've had, what are some interesting things that you're learning about your group, both leadership-wise and also academic-wise and athletic ability-wise?
So a lot of the things that I'm learning about them is, well, first of all, I gotta find a nickname for Miss Winder, because every time I say her name in the Zoom meetings, I have my device chirping at my ear. Just be like, oh, I don't know what you just said. So I gotta find a nickname for her.
Explain that. I don't understand.
So if you have an election...
Oh, never mind. Sorry. I thought you were talking about a last name.
No. So I gotta find a nickname for her.
Yeah.
But it's fun because we've been doing different groupings. We've been doing class groupings, and we've been doing position groupings, and then a big team grouping. So it's easy in the team setting to have 1, 2, 3, 4 voices out of the 15. But if you're only in the grouping with just the middles or just the outsides, now all of a sudden you're only sharing the space with 2 to 6 other people. So you have to be more vocal. So it's a lot of fun for me to see their personalities kind of shine through when they have to. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's something that we're lucky to have in the year 2020.
Well, our next guest is going to be coming to us from our equestrian team. And her name is Emmy Shaw. We didn't trigger our voice assistant device over here. But what it does trigger in me is a game that I want to play with her. Her name is spelled E-M-M-E. And what is that, Sebastian?
Palindrome.
You got it. So, we are going to have a palindrome quiz with Ms. Emmy Shaw later. Can I test you on 1 or 2 palindromes? All right. So you got Emmy as a palindrome. I'm going to give you a clue, and you can tell me what this palindrome is. And now I'm not sure if you've ever watched this show on TV or TV Land or old TV. It was a 70s show, but based on the Korean War. MASH. What is the nickname of Corporal Walter Eugene O'Reilly? It is a palindrome.
No idea.
Did you ever watch MASH?
Didn't watch MASH.
Didn't watch MASH. Okay. Well, then you might have to... let's see here. Well, the answer to that palindrome is radar. R-A-D-A-R, which spells the same backwards and forwards.
Right.
Give me an exclamation of surprise, wonder, or pleasure.
Wow.
You got it!
Nailed it.
Well, really appreciate you joining me on the abbreviated version of the palindrome quiz. I'll try that on with Emmy Shaw in the next segment. She's going to be joining us for a short bit because she actually has class at 3:45. So I want to get to her early so I can let her go early, and appreciate you coming on with us here and spending some time with us in this segment.
No problem. It's glad to always be here.
And glad to hear about the family exploits in sailing, because that's appropriate for our last guest on Thursdays, our sailing head coach, John Ingalls. So we got to get your dad and John together and see if they first of all know each other and perhaps want to get out on the cool and bright clear waters.
That would be awesome.
Well, you're looking good. Glad to see you again, and look forward to talking with you and anybody else on your team next week.
All right, great.
That's Sebastian Nordsee from our women's volleyball team, head coach, and I'll be joined by Emmy Shaw after a short break. Now you are I apologize as we're playing the clips, and I'm glad you had a teammate text you. You are a nursing major.
Yes.
You've been riding for 13 years and competing for the past 9 years. Represented Massachusetts at the All-American Quarter Horse Congress for the previous 3 years before Salve Regina. And you are the 2018 IBHA World Champion. How does that happen? What's involved there, Emmy?
So the IBHA is the International Buckskin Horse Association. And I went in 2018 with my trainer, and it was a really awesome experience. I trained for it the whole year, and it turned out really well, and we came home champions. So it was a really great experience.
When we finish this call, you can let Hannah Gray know that you appreciate her text, and I appreciate her text too, because I apologize for once again having the mute button on my streaming software, which prevented not only my sound, but who cares, but your sound as well. So we can sort of recap what we talked about at the beginning, and that was sharing the great news that you are being named captain by Coach Chelsea Francis, and you'll be joining Hannah Gray and McKenna Rooney as the 3 captains for the 2020-2021 season. Gray and Rooney being the seniors, and you'll be a junior next year. Again, how does that feel?
It's great. I'm really excited about next year. We had such a strong year this past year, and everything really came together for us, and it's super disappointing that it ended a little earlier than we expected, but I just know we're going to come back so much stronger next year, and we're all going to stick together and put the work in, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's a young team. You only graduate the 2 seniors, both Steph Dooley and Elise Ackermans. Elise, I don't know. Is she home in Belgium right now?
I believe she is.
Oh, good for her. She was able to get home right before spring break. Well, you graduate the 2, and you return a strong team in terms of a team that won its own home show back on March 7, and several of your riders qualified for the regionals. Does that include you?
No, I didn't show a lot this year, but I was more behind the scenes kind of things.
Tell me what goes into being a captain on an equestrian team.
On the equestrian team, being a captain really includes being there for your other teammates, always helping them out with any questions they have, and just being supportive overall. There's a lot of planning and organizing that goes into our home shows, and even if we're co-hosting a show. And when we had our home show, we were all there days in advance, prepping, getting horses ready, and just making everything run smoothly. And we did an awesome job with it. And there's really a lot of things that go into it that you don't see. So it's really cool to see everything that goes into the background. And
it truly takes a team, because
it really does.
There's so many horses that you are in care of, and you've got to make sure that they're ready for the riders to be ready to ride them and show on them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Emmy, we talked earlier, and I said I'm a big fan of palindromes, and I knew you were aware that your name was a palindrome, and it's a unique spelling of the name Emmy. It's E-M-M-E, as folks can see on the screen. So I want to quiz you on some palindromes, if you don't mind, and that'll help get you sharper for when you go to your next class, which is art history.
Yep.
Okay. As a nursing major, Emmy is also taking art history, which we hope will help her provide therapy for her future patients. Okay, let's go to the quiz, the questions that I have prepared for you. I quizzed Sebastian Nordsey earlier in preparation for your segment, and if you can get an answer that he couldn't get, you're amazing, because he's older. But do you know anything about the TV show MASH?
I don't.
Okay, then I'm going to skip that one. Let's start with a 3-letter word for a feminine parent.
Mom.
You got it. Let's start with we won't go to the masculine parent because that would be too easy. I'm going to go with a 5-letter word. It's a portable boat styled like an Eskimo canoe. 5 letters.
A kayak.
You got it. Another 5-letter word. Having a flat or even surface. 5 letters, spelled the same way, forwards and backwards.
Level.
Level is a palindrome. All right. It is 3:35. What is 12 o'clock in the daytime?
Noon.
Noon. A palindrome. How about... Okay, you are going to be a nurse someday. What would you call what you do when you send or direct for treatment, aid, information, or decision? A 5-letter word that is a palindrome. This one's tough. When you want to get a second opinion, what do? You...
I don't know.
I stumped the nurse. Refer. R-E-F-E-R.
That's a hard one.
Forwards and backwards. There are so many palindromes out there. I was so excited to see your name on our equestrian roster, and not only as a member of the team, but now also as a captain of the team. So I want to congratulate you again, and thank you for joining us on Seahawk Talk and sharing some background with equestrian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emmy. Good luck in class, and again, thank Hannah Gray for me once more.
I will. She's the best.
All right. That's Emmy Shore of our equestrian team. She's heading off to class. I'm heading into break, and we'll be joined by John Ingles when we come out of break. See you soon. Thanks for your patience. We're trying to connect with John Ingalls on WebEx. Stick with us. Hang in there. We hope to see Coach Ingalls soon. I appreciate your patience, hanging in there. I'm sure Coach Ingalls is not out on the golf course right now with Tiger, Peyton, Tom, and Phil. Not sure exactly where he is, but we've got the call out for him. Hopefully he's out on the water and enjoying some sailing. We will end this episode. I want to thank you. I want to thank Matt and Matt, Sylvia and Messner, Sebastian Nordsey, and Emmy Shore. Thanks for joining us on Seahawk Talk on Thursday, April 23. I'm Ed Habershaw. Stay safe. Stay home. You can go sailing if you get a chance. There's social distancing there, so keep your distance. Have a good day and see you on Friday.